So it's always been really interesting to me about, how do you build a team? How do you coach to specific players' talents? How do you communicate in a meaningful way? As I mentioned, I coached on the girls' side of basketball and women's athletics, and I quickly found that communication is a little bit different. The first couple of practices where there were like some tears, I'm like, I think I need to figure this out in a different way. But it was really a good experience for me. Actually, it was a wonderful experience early in my professional career when it comes to building teams and communication and those sorts of things. But
welcome to the RockstarsRocking podcast, powered by Voluntary Disruption, a show dedicated to people who are crushing their business and life goals. These are bite-sized conversations with leading rock stars in their respective industry who are pumped to share their story to help drive you to the next level. So, are you ready to rock? Speaking of rock stars, here's your host, Eric Silverman.
Hey, Rockstars, welcome back to another episode of RockstarsRocking. I'm Eric Silverman, and today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Ben Connor, CEO of Connor Insurance. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
Hey, man, thanks. It's my pleasure. I'm so glad you're here. Ben, I want to jump right in, if you don't mind. I have a lot to go over with you, and the first thing I wanted to talk about is the most incredible thing ever. Dude, you are nominated as one of the top 5 Broker of the Year finalists for one of the most prestigious industry trade publications and magazines that our industry, the insurance and employee benefits industry, has to offer. BenefitsPRO Broker of the Year finalist, top 5. Talk to me about that a little bit. Tell me, what do you think got you there? I mean, there are tens of thousands, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people that could be nominated, and you were one of 5.
Yeah, I think actually the article that they published in the magazine releasing us as finalists stated it best. I believe the reason why these accolades can be achieved and those recognitions exist is because ultimately I think it's from standing on the shoulders of giants, right? Obviously, there's incredible work ethic and commitment to being excellent at your craft that goes into something like that, but the reason that something like that's possible is the people who have invested in me as my career was established and was growing, as well as the team that's surrounding me on a daily basis. So it's really it's humbling, quite honestly, and it's also just a really wonderful honor to receive, but it's really a reflection of our team and my business partners and really all the mentors that have walked on this journey with me.
Yeah, I love the way you attribute it all to your team. I know you and I have talked about it before. We're both big believers in surrounding ourselves with professionals and folks that are smarter than us, quite frankly, and better than us in particularly areas that we know and admit that we're not the sharpest. And I know you have, you're saying you always like to talk about iron sharpens iron. So maybe talk about that for a minute when you're hiring and looking for new team members as Connor Insurance continues to grow rapidly. Talk about that.
Yeah. So, growing up, I've always been a big sports person and have just, learn the value of team and how the best teams are those that have people that know their roles, have people that are committed to a common vision, have people that really desire the best for themselves, and the people that find, those are people that find meaning and enjoyment in what they do. So, just simply, we want to transition that type of team building and teamwork into the business environment here at Connor Insurance. So that's what we're all about. We want people that care about the collective group rather than just themselves, and are committed to helping each other for the growth of everybody.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I love that. I wanted to ask you about your, I don't know, you tell me, I don't know if it's weekly or monthly or quarterly, but you do these really incredible things with, for your clients and prospects, and you call it Connor Chat or Connor Chats, I think. And I've had the pleasure of listening in on a couple, and even I appreciate you had me participate in one. And you're getting a lot of good feedback and results, and I know it's helping you with respect to even winning new appointments with potential clients that want to learn the Connor operation.
Yeah, so we've been running these Connor chats, and now we've been starting to do them virtually, which has actually added some pretty unique value. But really the goal behind our healthcare summits or our executive briefings or Connor chats, whatever umbrella that we have it underneath, is really just about the idea of adding value. And I think that once we, show an employer of what we do and we partner with them, of adding value, obviously they see that in the insurance and benefits practice primarily, but we want to show them in a more broad business environment that we are, we're folks that add value, that are committed to helping them with their overall business, and then particularly in the insurance and benefits realm.
No, dude, that makes total sense, and it's obviously working as you guys continue to soar. Dovetail that into your executive briefings, but moreover, your yearly. I don't know if it's more than once a year now, but your yearly summits, because to me that's just an extension of Connor Chat on a more grandiose scale.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, we had that was our last event of the year, because I don't think we're going to be having too many in-person events in 2020 at this point. But we held an event, it's hard to believe, on March 3rd that had 130 people in attendance, talking about the concept of what can happen in the healthcare environment and what next gen benefit strategies look like, and can look like for employers. And the reason why we think those are so valuable, and we still believe in-person education and content could be really valuable, is one, being able to cast a vision for what's possible. A lot of the things we talk about in the healthcare realm are things that might be new to a lot of people, that you can actually manage and control components of the healthcare supply chain and really boost the employee experience in dealing with just healthcare in general and their journey within healthcare. So we like to paint that vision. We like to give real examples. So this past year we had several employers on stage telling their story about, we saw this issue and then we addressed it. And quite simply, that is the model, is let's identify issues with data, and then let's simply find a reasonable way to solve that for each employer, because each employer solves problems differently. So they can address healthcare problems pretty differently as well. And then lastly, those in-person events are huge for just personal interaction. So, being around people that they wouldn't be around in their typical day, or, in a typical year, they're in this common place with other people that are trying to pursue the same things that they are. So that's produced some incredible value, not only for our customers, but for employers that aren't yet our customers.
Yeah, no, I really like that. And I truly hope, I know you do too, I hope the human interaction and the ability to do those events in the future certainly comes back. So, but yeah, boy, did you time that properly. Good job there. So I think what you're saying is you and your team and your company are the single reason why Indiana had a spike that day. Is that what you meant? Oh, no, that's not.
I can't confirm or deny.
Okay, good. Good way to answer. I love it. I'm just kidding for those that are listening, right? All right. So let me ask you this. You're speaking about culture, and we're speaking about teams, and we're speaking about a lot of different factors. Talk to me about learning from others and investing in training and bettering yourself. And what I mean by that is you and I are both part of multiple mastermind type groups where we get together virtually now, but we get together and we pick each other's brains, and we are never shy. We are of an abundance mindset, even if somebody happens to be in your backyard. Talk to me about that and what that means to you and Connor.
Yeah, I think it's the idea of continuous improvement and a commitment to learning. Um, I don't think you can help somebody if you think that you have all the right answers, because the reality is you don't.
Right.
And then what we owe it to each other, especially when we're in a business where we're providing an advisorship or consulting services, we have to continually learn and get better. And that's just part of what we do. So I think joining the Next Gen Benefits Network and some of these other things that we're pursuing and being part of is that commitment to learning. In fact, I think that's one of our main value propositions as a firm, is that, again, going back to the building of a team, we have a team full of lifelong learners, people who are humble to understand that there is always more to learn and there's always ways to get better, and that there's just a hunger for that within our firm, that ultimately just pays benefits for our customers.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that's why I too am very big on the constant learning and masterminds and various relationships and trainings that we both pay for and go to
Yep.
together and individually, separately as companies. Um, I love what you said. You were talking about you have to have an open mind. You were talking about you're always constantly learning. It reminds me of, I got to tie it in, man. It reminds me of my favorite sport, baseball, and the great Earl Weaver, Baltimore Orioles Hall of Fame legend, manager, not just the Orioles, but worldwide known for his managing skills. And he used to say to all the Hall of Fame players, he didn't know they'd be Hall of Famers, but he ended up saying this to future Hall of Fame players: it's what you learn after you think you know it all that counts. And I've always talked about that, and I've always believed deeply in that. Speaking of sports, I know you're a big sports fan. I believe you love basketball as much as I love baseball. Admittedly, I don't know basketball very well. I know that the season just started back recently, but that's about as much as I get when it comes to basketball. Talk about your deep love of basketball and coaching youth sports and just being involved in the community and what that means to you when it comes to the sport.
Yeah, so I'm from Indiana, which is a hotbed for basketball. You drive through the state, and every house has a basketball goal in its driveway, and
I have one
there's
of
just,
those, believe it or not.
yeah, there you go, and that's just part of Indiana culture. And I had a love for the game growing up, and thankfully had some wonderful coaches and mentors that was a part of my life growing up. And I actually had an opportunity. Actually, it didn't present itself as an opportunity at first. I got injured my senior year in high school, and really just kind of hurt some opportunity to play for that season. But one of my mentors said, "Hey, Ben, why don't you just come over and help me coach on the girls basketball side?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" And so I helped him out for several years, and that just got me on a journey for coaching. And I've always loved the game. It takes a lot of talent to play basketball in certain aspects, but in some aspects as well, it doesn't take much. So it's always been really interesting to me about, how do you build a team? How do you coach to specific players' talents? How do you communicate in a meaningful way? As I mentioned, I coached on the girls' side of basketball, and women's athletics, and I quickly found that communication is a little bit different. The first couple practices where there were like some tears, I'm like, I think I need to figure this out in a different way. But it was really a good experience for me. Actually, it was a wonderful experience early in my professional career, when it comes to building teams and communication and those sorts of things. But just love the game, love what the life lessons that it teaches of teamwork, of continuous learning, of, even if you're not the most talented, how can you find your role where you can be a meaningful part of a team, and just really trying to communicate that to kids, because that's something that they'll carry with them through life, and can be a meaningful part of how they can be a citizen, how they can be an employee or a business owner or a spouse or a friend even. I just think there's so many important lessons that exist in the sports realm.
Yeah, no doubt. And I tell you, we have a built-in in-ground basketball court. It was there when we moved in. Admittedly, I would never have bought it, but I love it. I really do. And if we ever moved, I don't plan on moving, but if we ever moved, we would probably have to buy one. And it's a 10-foot hoop, and we have it lowered to 6, not because I can dunk, but because it's easier for me to be a rock star to my 6-year-old. When I drain 3 in a row, I can do that, by the way. When I drain 3 in a row from the top of my driveway, he's walking on cloud 9. He's like, "Oh my God, how'd you do that?" Well, it's because Daddy's a stud. Let's just remember, right? Before we wrap up, and I appreciate you coming on. I think it's pretty cool. You guys, I think something about you guys have Connor Insurance or your name on some type of basketball arena somewhere local. Talk about that for just a sec.
Yeah, so we partnered with actually my alma mater, K through 12 school. It's called Heritage Christian School. It's where I grew up. It's where I coached even post high school and into my early professional career. And it's a place that I hold dear to my heart. They're a customer of ours as well. But that's where I met all my closest friends, even to this day. So we were able to just find a really good partnership between the school and our firm to be able to sponsor them on an ongoing basis in the high school gym there, and have naming rights. So there is the Connor Insurance Gymnasium at Heritage Christian High School in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is that's always been my home court. So I think it's only fitting.
That's really cool. I love that. I really do. I don't have anything like that. There's no baseball diamonds out here named after me or my company. Maybe one day. So Ben, I appreciate it. I'm excited because as your kids, I know you got young kids, but as your kids get older, you're going to, I'm sure, start coaching them in various sports. I suspect basketball is on that list. So that'll be fun for you. Ben, how can anybody, whether they're in the insurance or benefits world or whether they're an employer or anybody at all, how can they reach you or find you if they wanted to chat in any capacity?
Yeah, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I check that pretty regularly, so would love to connect on LinkedIn and build relationships that way. So that's probably the best way to reach me. Okay,
sure. And what's your website?
Website for Connor Insurance is www.connor with an E, so ConnerIns.com. ConnerIns.com, Connor with an E, ConnerIns.com. Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate it very much. It's been great having you as always. Good talking to you. For everybody listening or watching, depending on the format that you're on today as we chat with you, appreciate your time as well. If you haven't already, please go ahead and leave a review. Hopefully it's positive. Leave a review as well. 5 stars. I've got to tell you, would totally rock. And if you have a question or comment or anything that we can help with, feel free to reach out to us. And that's all I got to say about that. So as always, I'm Eric Silverman. That's Ben Connor. And I don't want you to have a good day. I want you to make it a great day, because I know we will. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Rockstarsrocking podcast. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. 5 stars would totally rock. Until next time, Rockstars, keep rocking.